All right, looks like we're live. Hi, everyone. It's Annette and Mike here. We're going to give everyone a little chance to get started here, but we are going live today to talk about a very touchy subject, which is COVID-19. So my name's Annette, by the way. This is my husband, Mike.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. So we're just going to give a second. If you have any questions, I think we're going to see your comments. So this is a Q&A. We're going to do this every Thursday. We're going to talk about topics and then talk to you about an Ayurvedic perspective.
So today, the topic is the COVID virus, as Annette said, or COVIDology 101. And Annette will have answers to everything that you have to ask.
And if I don't, I'll make it up.
Like she does with every other thing.
I just saw Yvonne said, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yvonne.
Wish we could see you. We miss you. So anyway, we're going to talk about the big C word. So big C word being the COVID and or cuss word. And nowadays you mentioned the big C word, and it's definitely a cuss word. But it seems like we're all just afraid to broach the subject, and we want to broach this topic with you. I'm a registered nurse and an Ayurvedic practitioner, so I wanted to kind of hit it at both angles and kind of give you hopefully some different perspectives. But so the CDC guidelines, I wrote this down here as of yesterday. So my statistics are a little bit off because I got these statistics yesterday and I did not check what they are today. But let's see.
They have to be
close. They're close, but then I saw something on some kind of resource. Whoops, I think I'm hitting the microphone, so sorry if that was awful. Well, where did I put the numbers at? Oh, here it is. It's as far as from January 21st of this year, 2020, to July 15th, yesterday, 2020, there have been 416,428 positive cases of the COVID, and there's been 135,991 deaths from this coronavirus. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about numbers, because here we live in Florida, and if you all are aware of any of the news, which we have not been watching the news, but I do get statistics. If you've been watching the news, our numbers are very skewed here. So what do you believe is the first thing is, so what we're being told here, that there's a number of people that are going to get tested, and then they fill out the paperwork. The line is so busy that they say, you know what, we'll come back at a later time. We don't have that much time to wait. They go home, and then 2 days to 2 weeks later, they get a positive result in the mail, and they never had the test in the first place. So that's kind of what's going on in our area. Also, there's also reports being said that the decimal point's been in the wrong spot, which can be quite important, especially when it's like 9% and it's really 0.09%. So, the main takeaway from all of this is that we would ask everyone not to get so caught up in the numbers. What we want to take a look at is really, how is this taxing the healthcare system? And even that can be skewed as well, because when you're scaring the tar out of everyone with all these numbers and how horrible everything is, people are going to run to the hospital more than usual. Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in perspective. So I don't want to be saying that this COVID thing is nothing to be concerned about. Of course, it is real. It's something we should all be concerned about. But it's our reactions to this, and how do we handle this, and how can we prevent getting this COVID?
Right.
But one of the things I want to also keep in mind here is that you can't hide from a virus. And so we've kind of got this ideology with all this, let's hide in our homes and quarantine from it. And so I said all along, and not that I know everything, because I don't, but don't tell him.
I already know that.
Well, you should, yeah. But anyway, so my point is that when you hide from something and then you step out and expose yourself to it, it's going to flare, and it needs to run its course. And so if we're all going to hide from it, then eventually it's going to catch up with us, right? So you can't hide from it. And the sad thing that I have seen, just for instance, the other day I was walking my dog and I came home. It was early in the morning. I walked him at 5 a.m. and I came home and the paper had been delivered. And I picked up the paper and the front headline said, COVID virus lurking. And I was like, oh, people read that. That sounds quite scary, because when something is lurking, that's a scary thing, right? We don't want lurking. So what I'm trying to get across is that if we believe the numbers, so let's say worst case scenarios, the numbers are true. So if we believe the numbers, it's not a matter of if you get exposed to it, but when you get exposed to it. And so what can we do allopathically, Western medicine? We've got all sorts of things to do. And one of those is you can get on the cdc.gov website and find out how to avoid or prevent the COVID-19. And that being said, it's number one is just washing your hands. So what they recommend doing is washing your hands very thoroughly. And they're recommending wearing masks. There's all sorts of recommendations. If you cough or sneeze, cough into your armpit or on yourself. Don't cough out there, because that's the way the COVID's being transmitted. I was attacked by the maskless mob. And had to run away as fast as I can. Well, there now, in all quite honesty, there's pros and cons to both sides of this. And so that's one of the things that we want to get across today, is that whether you are a mask wearer or not a mask wearer, let's be kind. Let's be nice. Really, in all honesty, the stress level that this virus is creating, everyone, the anxiety and the anger is raising our cortisol levels. And what does that do? Stress depletes our immune system completely. So we're all out there being mean to each other and totally depleting our own immune systems and making us a lot more susceptible to the virus. Because the whole point of this show today is to talk about how we can increase our immune system to prevent it in the first place.
Yes.
So be kind, whether you're wearing a mask or not, be kind. It's a matter of personal choice. For every information out there that says mask wearing works, which, by the way, CDC is recommending, not that I'm saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying CDC is recommending it. But when you look at it from a healthy person perspective, if you are a very healthy person, and I'm a nurse, so I have always said, keep yourself healthy, because I'm going in and working with immunocompromised patients. And if I'm sick, I'm going to make them definitely get sick, right? So keep myself healthy. Ideally, if a healthy person is supposed to be able to walk amongst sickness, breathe the virus in, breathe it back out, and we're perfectly fine. That means if everything's intact. And so I want to talk to you about how keeping things intact. So let's talk about the hand washing issue. So with hand washing, in that Western medicine recommends all these antiviral, antibacterial soaps. Even as a nurse, I knew that it's the friction that kills the virus. So it's the friction that you're using with the hand washing. So how you wash your hands, it doesn't really, in my opinion, and please don't dog me for this, just get you a nice, good, organic one that's moisturizing soap and start washing your hands. But wash in between your fingers. Use the friction. Don't forget your thumbs and don't forget your wrist. And if you've got a watch on like this, take it off and rub all the way up your elbows, rubbing, and sing Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yankee Doodle Dandy, if you sing the whole song, you're going to have enough friction time to get those viruses off that skin and then rinse it down the drain. I saw a look there.
Why Yankee Doodle Dandy?
It's enough. They say Yankee Doodle Dandy is enough time to allow the friction to work on that virus. So use a good soap. Remember too that on the flip side of these, all these antiviral, antibacterial. Now, if you choose to use that, perfectly fine. Remember, this is not a he said, she said, this is the right way. No, that's the right way. There is none of that. It's a matter of personal choice. And that's what I want everyone to remember this. It's a matter of personal choice. So if you feel better using a mask and an antiviral bacterial soap, perfectly fine. I say go for it. Do it. If that makes you feel more better and secure, absolutely. But again, don't use these things as a false sense of security as well. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. So we have normal flora on our skin. So when we're using some of this antiviral, antibacterial stuff on our skin, we're also depleting our own defense mechanism as well. So keep that in mind too when we're using all these chemicals. I also often wonder too about all the chemical sprays that we're spraying, all the Lysols and all these antiviral and antibacterial sprays that we're using to disinfect everything. I wonder about breathing that in our lungs and what we're doing to our own lung health, let alone the environmental issues that might be going on. So just a food for thought. Again, no right or wrong. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying to just think about it. Think about both sides of the coins and then determine what feels best for you. So moisturizing the skin with a good, washing the skin with a good moisturizing soap, but then keeping the skin moisturized so that we don't get any fissures or opening in our skin is real important too. So keeping our skin intact, that's our first line of defense and a barrier. So let's talk about the nose as well. So we're talking about prevention and how to avoid COVID. So one of the things in allopathic medicine or Western medicine, I call it allopathic, it's Western medicine as we Americans know it, is, of course, the hand washing. But one of the things I think that we left out, and I'm coming from it now from an Ayurvedic perspective, is our nose health. And by the way, allopathic medicine, all the roots of it came from Ayurveda. All healthcare systems as we know it, Chinese medicine, allopathic medicine, all roots are in Ayurveda. So what we did in allopathic medicine is we extracted parts of Ayurveda, kept it, and then built science around it. And we left out some parts now that we're discovering are extremely important. And one of those things being was the neti pot and the Nasaya oil. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So
do you want to use my nostrils as an example?
I think I'll avoid your nostrils for now.
Okay.
I need to take a drink. I'm
help.
Talking too fast.
I'm not a medical professional, but I do have almost 59 years of being a male.
And he's been around me, so that's like counts for a lot.
Yes, that's done a lot of damage. For being 30 years old, I look awfully old.
He's 20. Don't let him fool you. Just kidding. Okay, so where was I? The nose, nostrils. Honker. All right, we got some pretty good honkers there.
That's
so we
right.
can
talk about neti pot.
All right, so neti pot. So a neti pot is those wonderful little devices, and I have one. We're at our studio right now, and I have one over there, but it's in its box, so I didn't think it was good. A neti pot is just a porcelain device or other type of device where you wash out the nasal cavity. So Audrey's wanting to see me demonstrate on you. I'm going to hold him down, and I'm going to demonstrate with this coffee.
We'll use coffee.
So
I don't want to get coffee on my shirt, so I'll refrain.
Plus, it might look a little nasty coming out the nose. But so anyway, so a neti pot is cleaning out the nasal cavities. The nares would have you with a saline solution. So it's a little salt solution. And in Ayurveda, we do this every day. It cleans out the boogers. Let's be real. It's boogers, the debris. So let's be professional then.
Never.
It cleans out the debris in your nose. And so you clean out the right nostril and then blow your nose just gently because you don't want to blow that into your ears. And then you neti pot the other side and then you gently blow your nose. By the way, I have a video on how to do that. I actually demonstrate it myself on our website, Ayurveda, dragonflyayurveda.com, if you would like to see that lovely video. Yeah. So I'll
just
make
take
one
your
of
word for
him.
it.
Yeah. So the next thing we want to do is moisturize the nares, the nose. And so we take what we call Nisaya oil. It's in Ayurveda, it's oils that are cooked in herbs, and they're lovely. It has like generally gotu kola in it, and brahmi that is good for the brain. It's calming and soothing. However, and you take a Q-tip or a drops, and you drop that into your nose and sniff it up and moisturize the nares. You can also take a nice coconut oil or an almond oil or a sunflower oil, make sure they're organic, and dip your Q-tip in there and swab out each nose. Make sure you're using a clean one Q-tip head to one side, and then another clean Q-tip head to the other nose. That way you're not transferring bacteria or debris from one to the other, even though you just neti potted, right? Another way to get around the neti pot, by the way, to back up a little bit, is rose water or rose hydrosol is a fabulous way if you don't want to use the neti pot. And rose water, by the way, we don't want to put it through the nares. You want to use a Q-tip and swab out the nares. And the same thing, a clean Q-tip for each nose hole. We believe in being professional and unprofessional here at Dragonfly. And so why do we do that? If you've ever been hit in the nose, you'll know that the nose is very vascular. So it bleeds a lot. And that's why people think they're going to die when they get hit in the nose and it won't stop bleeding. And that's because our nose is very vascular. And so with that being said, in the wintertime, the reason why most people get more colds and flus in the wintertime is because in the north, you've got heat going on, and it's heating and drying the air, your environment that you're breathing in, and that's why you'll get little fissures or openings or little sores in your nose and inside your nostril. That skin is very thin, and again, remember I said it's very vascular. And if you get a little fissure and opening in that area and you breathe a virus in, you gave a direct portal right into your bloodstream. So that's why it's really important to Nisaya oil that nose. And I say do it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And if you're traveling or going out in public, do it before you go get on an airplane, definitely, because you're just breathing everyone else's gunk in on an airplane. It's just a tin can of you know what. And so moisturize your nose before you get on the plane. Keep your nose healthy. It's one of the most important things, and one of the main things I believe that Western medicine made a mistake when they left that out. So oil your nose.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So the CDC, some of the doctors, and again, it depends on who you are listening to. It will tell you one thing, another doctor will tell you another thing. One TV station will say one thing, another news station will say another thing. Some newspapers, everything's conflicting. Mm-hmm. So it seems like the mask, the washing of the hands is kind of a prevention, but is not necessarily helping our immune system. So helping our immune system, wouldn't that take precedence over some of the other things anyway? Once our immune system is healthy, then it seems like some of these other things would not be needed maybe as much. So what list of things besides the neti dealing with our nose, what are the things that we can do to up our immune system the most?
Oh, okay, good question.
I know.
First and foremost, diet. Take a look at your diet. In Ayurveda, we have dosha-specific diets that we recommend to everyone. At Dragonfly, we always take it a step further and say, check your ethnicity as well. So your ethnicity and your doshas. And if you don't know what your doshas is, we have a little test that you can take, or let me know. I'll be glad to send you a little dosha test. Remember, that never takes the place of an Ayurvedic consultation, but it does give you a little starting point. But what we always see in Ayurveda is nutrition. Use food as your medicine. Number one, first and foremost, self-defense is just consuming good and nourishing foods that will improve your immune system. But we like what we call in Ayurveda very sattvic, peaceful foods. So learning about that, learning what works best for your body. Remember, even when we give you dosha-specific food guides, we always say cater that and tweak that, because everyone is so uniquely different. So we want to increase our fresh fruits and vegetables. And I say, let's take a look at that just for a second. We in Ayurveda, we want to consume foods as close to their natural original source as possible. And so a lot of fruits and vegetables have been modified to become more hardy, disease resistant, drought resistant, all that. So a lot of fruits and vegetables that we are getting are genetically modified from have been for years. And so what I always say is, if you can, buy the heirloom fruits and vegetables and go for that first and foremost. They are more expensive, but I promise you, in the end, paying more for good, nourishing foods that are healthy for you will save you money in the long run, because you won't be sick as often. You won't be paying their money to a doctor or hospital or less frequently. And so always pick good, nourishing foods. If you are a meat eater, again, remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no one set rule. So if you're a vegan, avoid processed foods. If I can say there's one thing that's really lacking in the vegan world right now, is that they're all going towards these fake meats. And if you have a craving that bad for meat, just eat meat. Don't eat the fake processed lab created stuff, because that's not made for the body. Go for the real stuff. So if you're vegan, just go for the real stuff. Just try to make it organic and heirloom if possible, and local, by the way. If you can eat it local, go to the farmer's market, support your local people. We have an organic produce company that comes to our studio and gives people local, fresh, organic foods. Should states block travel from states with high coronavirus cases? So it's a good question. I just had somebody ask, should states block travel? I do not believe in operating in fear. Again, no right or wrong here. I say it's a personal choice. If you are afraid, please stay home, take care of yourself. But I say don't operate in fear. I say take care of yourself. We weren't made to be in fear. And by the way, fear increases stress levels, depletes the immune system. Walk out in confidence. If you're going to walk out in confidence. Just make sure you're at your most optimal health when you do. I was talking about food. Hopefully that answered your question, whoever asked that.
I asked it.
That's Joan. This person here,
okay.
Asked it. They asked about state travel. So I say travel. If you're going to, I say travel. If you're healthy and symptom free, don't live in fear. Live your life. But if you are one that is more on the air of caution, then please, by all means, honor that. We ask everyone to honor their own choices, but don't be mean to others who honor their own choices as well. It's all about being peaceful, stepping back and breathing. Remember, this is not a crazy, unusual thing. I think all of us have never experienced a pandemic before. So it's brand new to all of us. And so we're all operating, or most of us are operating in fear. And what I'm seeing especially on social media, is all this meanness going on, because we've never seen it before and we're scared. Plus, we're being fed a lot of false information and nobody knows what to believe. So what I say is, just remember, the earth has a way of natural cleansing. And please hear my heart, because I love everyone. But the earth has done this for forever. We've had wipeouts of all sorts of things. And this is a natural cleansing that we're going through right now. Now, granted, being said that, I think that this virus, they're saying it was man-made, created. But for years now, if you've paid attention to the health industry, they have predicted a pandemic for years now. I remember way back, probably 15 years ago, we were preparing. Well, remember H1N1? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's been all sorts of pandemics. We were like, here it is, it's going to happen. And it didn't pan out quite right. So now it's happening. So remember, this is a natural thing that occurs, even though this virus itself may not be a natural virus. Pandemics have occurred throughout our entire history. And so just ride in the wave. Take care of yourself, prepare yourself, don't get caught up in the stress of it, and
caller.
And I think my live video, I had a phone call come in on my phone. So my Instagram just went out, but hopefully Instagram says we're live. So, so just go with the wave. This too shall pass. If you want to talk about that.
Will pass?
Yeah.
I don't have anything to pass.
He's the king of passing.
But I do want to ask you to continue on. I know we need to wrap this up here in just a few minutes.
Oh yeah.
But the main thing is upping our immunity, boosting our immunology, and so you talked about diet being a main part of it. So what else can we do to enhance our immune system, to make it stronger, besides the food and being married to a man like me?
Well, for one, I have to protect myself with yoga and meditation. Get out in sunshine. One thing that the virus does not like is sunshine. So get out in that sunshine. 20 minutes a day is optimal. Take your shoes off, walk in the bare. If you're lucky like us and we got access to the beach, walk in the sand. If you are near a forest, take your shoes off, walk in the beautiful green, sweet grass. Just enjoy nature. Get out in nature, enjoy it. There's many other things to do, and we're going to talk about that more next Thursday. If you have questions and would like for us to address those, we'd love to answer them for you or talk about it. If we don't know it, we'll find out what it is. But we love discussions like this. Let's talk about it. Let's bring it out. Let's not be afraid of this, and let's talk common sense. So before you make a decision about anything, I want you to think about are you feeding the fear, or are you getting all the information you need to make a good, sound judgment? Remember, media is not our reliable source, and so just be okay with that.
Any of it?
No. Not at all. And so, but next week, this whole series we're doing is, number one, let's talk about this because you can't hide from it. So let's talk about it. And then number two, let's be kind. No matter what choice you decide to do, whether you decide to mask or not mask, just be kind to each other. Now, with the mask thing being said also, is I say honor the businesses that have said that they require masks to go into. So if you're a non-mask wearer, just try to follow and obey the law. Some of these businesses, we're a business too. Some of them are mandated. You have to wear a mask. So just honor that. Be kind to everyone. If you are a believer in not wearing the mask, just be kind if they ask you to wear a mask, and just put it on and take it off the minute you come out the store. And the non-mask wearers, if we're in a place where you don't have to wear, or mask wearers rather, if we're in a place where you don't have to wear a mask, and people decide to trust their own immune system and the way they feel comfortable about, remember, people with COPD and asthma, they may not be able to wear a mask. So don't judge those that decide not to wear a mask, because they're not going to make you sick if you're taking care of yourself. Plus, just don't cough on anyone.
Or sneeze.
Or sneeze.
I hate when she sneezes on me. It's like a bath.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Protect yourself. Protect your mental health above all things. And think on things that are good and pure and lovely and of a good report. And keep those good vibes coming.
I want to answer this question.
Oh, okay.
Should I straighten my teeth with braces since face masks are mandatory? You know what? I have crooked teeth. There's not a thing wrong with crooked teeth. I say, no, don't straighten your teeth with braces. And if you're a little self-conscious about it, the good news with wearing a mask is that you can get you a mask with a big smiley face with perfect teeth on it. There, answer your question, right?
It's a lot cheaper that way too.
Yeah, hey.
Save yourself a few grand and just wear a face mask with teeth.
Now, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't know
We're
what I was going to
going
say.
to wrap this up because this is only going to be 10 minutes. And I think we've been talking almost 30 minutes now. We love to talk about this. Next Thursday at 2, we'll be on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And we're going to talk more about COVID. And we're going to talk about, at some point, what do you do if you do get COVID? Because, again, a lot of us have had COVID. And how do you recover from COVID? So we'll be talking about that as well. And, again, if you have questions, please ask. We love to answer questions. We love to talk about anything Ayurvedic, yoga. spirituality, whatever you want to talk about, we are here to talk about it. So, by the way, we are offering, before we close this up, we are going to be offering a summer cleanse. It's an Ayurvedic cleanse. We'll be announcing when we are going to offer it. Just keep that in mind. It's dragonflyayurveda.com. We'll be having a summer cleanse. Now, traditionally in Ayurveda, we do a spring and fall cleanse. This will be the two big cleanses, but we're going to make an exception because most of us went under quarantine and ate potato chips and drank alcohol a lot. So what we're going to do is we're offering the COVID-19 summer cleanse. So instead of the freshman 15, most of us gained the COVID-19. I know I put on a little bit of poundage with the quarantine because of the stress, and we all went in and munched, or I did anyway. We're not going to talk about that, but so we're going to do a summer cleanse. So keep that in mind or tucked back in the back of your head. We'll be announcing that either next week or the week after. We're going to just be announcing when we're going to go forth with that.
Be blessed.
Love you guys. We'll see you next week, if not sooner. Bye-bye. We can't stop it.
It won't stop.
Here, you don't push on that.
Oh.